Hi boys and girls, this is Mrs. Paisley, and these are my past 7th graders who are going to be doing a carving demonstration for our linoleum block printing project. And so, moving on to the carving techniques, the first thing you need is a bench hook. And so this is not how you set up a bench hook. They need to be hooked onto the front of the table so that it doesn't move, and then your linoleum can be pushed up against the back part right there so it doesn't go anywhere. Moving on to the tools, we've got this one. This one's the biggest one. It's hard to see because the camera doesn't focus a whole lot on that small of a thing, but it's a U-shaped. See the hand? Okay, so now she's going to carve, okay, and you always want to carve away from you. She's got a shallow angle, and notice where her hands are. This hand is behind the linoleum because you don't want to carve towards your hand because that would be unsafe and you might gouge your fingers, which would not be good. And so this is used to take away a lot of material, a lot of the linoleum. So carving stuff away. So that's that one. The next tool is over here. This is a V-shaped tool. This is my favorite personally because you can get really nice thin lines with it, or like deep lines. And this is what I use first when I start outlining the project. So she is going to start carving, and this one does really nice thin lines. Okay, but notice where her hands are. Look at where her other fingers are. If she slipped, act like you're slipping for a second. So if she slips, okay, her finger could go in the tool could go into her finger. That would not be good. So she needs to move her hands behind the linoleum over here and then proceed with carving. Okay? And moving over here, we have the smallest little carving tool. Okay, it's hard to see, but this one is also a V shape, but it's for fine details, sometimes at the very end. Okay, still carving away from you, and just carving on very thin little strips of linoleum. Okay, and so now I know these students made images on the other sides of their linoleum, so they're going to start carving some of those images. Okay, so we've got that image. We've got a cat sitting on a chair. Oops. This one's going to involve a lot of the small tool. Might want to turn your whole thing around because you can carve away from you but turn it upside down. That's also an idea. Okay. There's a turtle. Hands are in the appropriate place now. Good job. So she's using this tool to create like the water effect behind the turtle. And this is important, like when you start carving, like paying attention to the direction you're carving, because some of those marks are definitely going to show up. Over here, we've got some texture being made. Yep. And over here, we've got. You want to make sure that you carve away everything that is white. So she's carving out the inside of the guitar right now. She's leaving the black line on the outside, and she's also leaving the circle and the strings on the inside. She'll probably move to a different shape of a tool here soon. Okay, so she's untwisting the part. She slides it out. She gets another tool. She's got the V tool. And there's a little slot in there that you kind of wiggle it in. Yep. And now she's tightening it back up. And that's all you have to do for changing the blade. Now she can go in and she can start outlining on the inside of that line for the guitar, also on the outside of the guitar. But making sure to leave that black line raised so it still prints when we go to printing. Okay. coming back over here, we can see where the outline is being carved out for the chair. Changing the direction of the linoleum so you can have a better angle for carving. Great job, guys. Okay, so I'm going to hand the camera over. And so, you guys remember, this was the image that I did. I transferred it. Okay, so it's backwards. Okay, that's where it's supposed to be. I've got my bench hook. And I'm going to use the V tool first. Okay, put it in there, tighten it up. Okay, now my first step is when I start outlining the bold black lines where there's white. So I'm carving out here. Carving out here. This is my computer screen because I'm on the computer a lot for school. Okay, I'm going to go around the belly, my future belly. And I'm just outlining everything first. Not where there's black, or like around the black. So if I get to another spot, I kind of lift up and I kind of take that part out. Notice I'm continuing to carve away from myself so I don't gouge my fingers. Okay, I'm not putting a whole lot of pressure because I don't want to gouge and go through this line and end up hurting this area. Once I get all that part done, I might start taking maybe the small tool, putting it in there, tightening it up. And this might be really great for like some of this pattern that I'm doing on the shirt as a fine texture, because something that you want to make sure that you have are shapes. Okay, these bold, dark shapes for shadows, for my book, for part of the computer. Those are shapes. You also want to make sure you have texture. Those are the two things that we're concentrating on in this project, on how the elements of art work together. Okay, so this is the next step. It usually takes a couple of class periods, and then the next demo will be on printmaking. So, and then we put all this stuff away, and that's basically the carving demo. So thank you. Have fun.